systems break down, costs infect everything. It's collapsing. The coverage collapse in theaters now.
They promised affordable health care. They delivered a $1 trillion wealth transfer scheme. Now, after 15 years of lies, the Obamacare house of cards is finally collapsing. Democrats are admitting it's broken. Insurance stocks are up 1,000% while families go bankrupt. Dr. Oz, he just exposed how COVID subsidies created massive fraud, brokers enrolling phantom patients for government cash. Even President Trump is done playing nice. The system isn't failing. It's succeeding at exactly what it was designed to do, rob you blind. And the truth is finally breaking through. Now, this isn't just about healthcare. It's about the biggest con job in American history. You see, they told you Obamacare would save families $2,500 a year. Instead, what happened? Premiums doubled. They said you could keep your doctor. You couldn't. They promised transparency. They delivered fraud. Dr. Oz revealing that COVID-era subsidies didn't even help patients. They created what he calls incentives for fraud. Brokers can sign people up without their knowledge. Your tax dollars flowing straight into insurance company vaults. NEC Director Kevin Hassett, he's laid it bare. All those subsidies went right into insurance company pockets while regular policies doubled in price. Think about that. You're paying twice. Once in taxes for subsidies, again in premiums that keep skyrocketing. Senator John Kennedy asked a question Democrats can't answer. If Obamacare is so great, why do you have to pay people to use it? And as we wrap up 2025, it's a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing that we've all learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It is the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan, it's a gamble. And for over a decade, my friends over at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Look, nobody knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital, it's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So before the year ends, take one smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com. It's linked down below. Or you can call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347, and ask Colin how you can get 10 one-ounce silver holiday coins with qualified accounts. They'll make great stocking stuffers this year. Now, you see, the mask is off completely. Even Democrat Cory Booker admits the system is broken, tweeting about millions losing insurance, but he wants the same people who broke it to fix it. President Trump's solution is revolutionary. Cut out the insurance companies entirely, send the money directly to Americans, let them choose their own care. The response from everyday Americans is brutal. One actually said Booker told Booker exactly what millions are thinking. Why would any sane person want Democrats involved in fixing the disaster they created? The pandemic exposing massive fraud, phantom enrollments, billions stolen, the subsidies that were supposed to help you went straight to corporate profits. Here's President Trump. Listen.
We're negotiating with lawmakers, and I've had personal talks with some Democrats. I can't tell you who they are. I just don't want to do that. It's not fair to them. About paying large amounts of dollars back to the people. You know, this was my idea. It came up during that. You know, oftentimes under times of stress, like the shutdown, you come up with great ideas that you wouldn't have thought of before. The insurance companies are making a fortune. Their stock is up over 1,000% over a short period of time. They are taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're not really putting it back, certainly not like they should. So when I see this, and when I've seen this over the last pretty short period of time, I said, why do we just pay this money directly to the people of our country and let them buy their own health insurance? And, you know, I made that statement, and I made it a little bit cavalierly, but it sounded good. And everybody has picked it up, including Democrats. And I am talking to some Democrats right now about doing that. People love it. We're going to take the money. Well, if it gets approved, we're going to take the money. We're going to pay it back to the people of our country to go out and buy health insurance. Now, they can put it in a health account. We can do it a lot of different ways. But they buy their own health insurance. They can negotiate price. And it's going to be locked, so they can't go out and buy a Cadillac. They can go out and buy health insurance. We're negotiating.
Wow. Giving the money back to the people. How's that sound? But, of course, he says it's locked. Here's Dr. Oz. Major flaws in the COVID subsidies. Good God.
The president said he will be willing to talk about these subsidies once the shutdown is over. The shutdown is over. So is he willing to extend the subsidies at all?
I think the president's willing to look at all options, but we have some major flaws with the way these COVID-era subsidies were added. And just so everyone's on the same page in this issue, our goal is to get people covered. Especially we want people covered who are trying to work. They're trying to climb their way up financially as they get jobs and evolve. How do you do it wisely? So the original Obamacare had fundamental flaws in it. For example, when you make more than 4 times poverty, there was not an ability to get continued enhanced subsidies. But there are other issues that were also present that the Democrats tried in early COVID to rectify by throwing money at it. The problem with the approach that was taken, and if it was a great approach, I actually think they would have made those changes permanent. The fact that they're designed to expire now is reflective of the fact that the current system is not the system that anyone really thought would work long term. It creates incentives for fraud. And I'll just give you one example because I keep reading about this in different contexts, but you can understand it in a very straightforward way. Health insurance is different from other kinds of insurance. You don't want to use your fire insurance because you don't want your house burning down. Health insurance you tend to use every year. In fact, on average, 80% of people use their health insurance during the day. If you're watching right now, think about whether you filled a prescription, went to a doctor's office, you use your insurance. So let's say 20% of the time you don't use your insurance. That was also the number for the Obamacare exchanges. That number has now doubled. Doubled. We have last year 24 million people on the exchanges. 11 million people never filed a claim.
So I hear you talk. The president said he will be
11
willing.
million people never even filed a claim. Senator Kennedy, 72 hours ago, we were promised that Obamacare would make our lives better. It only made them worse.
We were I'll say if we learned anything through this intergalactic freak show shutdown, we learned that Obamacare is not working. We were promised if we did it, premiums would go down and insurance would be more accessible. It's been neither. We were promised our lives would be better. Our lives are worse. We need to fix it. Just extending the status quo is like putting fresh paint on rotten wood. Now, how are we going to fix it? Well, we're going to vote on revising Obamacare exchanges here before Christmas. We need to put together a proposal that looks like somebody designed it on purpose. I'll say if we learned anything.
Designed on purpose. NEC Director Kevin Hassett, Obamacare 100% Democrat, always been Democrat.
The way to think about it, purchasing power has gone up. And so real wages, that's W divided by P for our technical people of the audience, have gone up by about $1,200 this year. So the way to think about it is that we've dug a $3,000 hole because of Biden policies, and we've, gained $1,200 on the way out already, which should give you a great deal of hope for the future that the wage increases that we're seeing will continue. And even if inflation stays positive, make it so that people feel way better when they go to the grocery store and to buy a car. We've reduced the cost of buying a car with the deductibility of interest. I mean, there's a million things that we're doing to fix this problem, but it's just kind of astonishing to me that the cost problem is somehow being blamed on us. Now, think about it, especially with the Obamacare thing. So Obamacare is 100% Democratic policy. It's always been 100% Democratic policy. What they did is they expanded the subsidies during COVID, and then all those subsidies basically went right into the pockets of insurance companies. And Obamacare insurance policies have doubled in price relative to normal policies. And so the fastest inflation in the economy is these big government subsidies thrown at Obamacare insurance. Think about it. It's kind of like if you give lots of student loans, then the tuition goes up. It's that effect. And so now they're blaming President Trump for Obamacare as well. They should have fixed Obamacare in the first place. And President Trump had a plan in the big, beautiful bill to give people some subsidies, but the Democrats didn't like it because the subsidies weren't going to their campaign contributors, the insurance companies. Purchasing power.
And you heard Kennedy said that they're going to work on that. They're going to change it. And, even I think they should just come out and just call it Trump Care. Oh, wouldn't that just be something? Cory Booker posting this 24 hours ago. Our healthcare system is broken. Millions more are about to be uninsured. Jumper quote tweeting, "You're right. You Democrats should have never imposed your lousy Obamacare plan on us 15 years ago. By all standards, it's a disaster. Why would any sane person want Democrats to be involved in this fix?" Senator Kennedy, October 14th, "To my Democrat friends, if Obamacare is so swell, why do you have to pay people to use it? The pandemic's over. The subsidies won't fix your broken healthcare exchanges." Let's check in with Senator Kennedy again.
Well, we understand the stakes. There are 24 million people on Obamacare who are receiving the extra subsidies. The Democrats started these things.
It was an emergency.
They said it was for the pandemic. Well, the pandemic ended 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And of the 24 people on the Obamacare exchanges, 1.6 are getting the extra subsidies.
Yeah.
And what Biden did was take the cap off. Used to be you only qualified for the exchanges for Obamacare if you were a family for making no more than $130,000 a year. Well, now we've got families making $600,000 a year.
They get the subsidy.
And they get the subsidy.
Yeah. It's almost like the Affordable Care Act is not affordable.
No, that's Josh, you nailed it. That's the real issue. The subsidies, don't misunderstand me, are an issue. But the real point from 35,000 feet is Obamacare exchanges are broken.
Yeah.
I mean, they were supposed to make insurance cheaper and more accessible. It's done neither.
Yeah.
And it's so bad that people will not buy the exchanges unless the federal government pays them to.
Yeah.
It was just...
How ridiculous is that? Dr. Oz, get people to pay $5. Paying 5 months means I don't know.
We're getting full. There are ways for us to continue to cover Americans without allowing the widespread fraud. And I don't want to underplay this. 4.4 million people right now, we believe, are getting full insurance coverage with the Obamacare. Many of them don't know they have that coverage. They're duly enrolled both in Medicaid and the ACA.
Can you fix that? It's the middle of November. Can you fix that in the next 5 weeks?
Well, we could definitely put in incentives to remove that as a possibility. I'll give you a good example. Get people to pay $5. $5. Is that too much to pay a month? Paying $5 a month means at least you have to opt into the program. You can't get falsely put on the program by some broker without you knowing about it.
So are there conversations?
There are ways for us to continue to cover America.
So right there, smoking gun. Dr. Oz revealed people can be enrolled in Obamacare without even knowing it. Brokers get paid, insurance companies get paid, taxpayers get robbed. So he's proposing something radical. Just make people pay $5 a month. Why? Because then they'd actually have to opt in and the fraud would stop overnight. But they'll never do it because the fraud is the system. The theft is the plan. Obamacare was never about your health. It was about their wealth. So 15 years, that's how long they've been lying to your face about Obamacare. 15 years of watching insurance executives get rich while you choose between medicine and rent. 15 years of subsidizing fraud while being told you're the problem. The Democrats created this disaster. Republicans enabled it. Insurance companies profited from it. And you paid for all of it. And now they act shocked that it's collapsing? They're not shocked. They're scared. Because when Americans realize they've been funding their own robbery, when they understand the subsidies went to stockholders, not sick people, when they see the fraud was the feature and not a bug, that's when the real change happened. Trump's direct payment idea terrifies them because it cuts out their profit machine. Simple question. Have a conversation. Comments. Should we just end Obamacare's insurance company welfare system? Should we just end it all? Does it even need to be replaced? Does Trump care replace it? Yes or no? Comment below and support truth-telling journalism at our merch shop. It is linked in the description.